And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be having a quick look at the doom of the EU. I found an article that's titled EU Disaster as German paper listed 5 countries to follow Britain out of the bloc. You'd be amazed at who they've said as well. Now we all know that the EU are pretty much doomed at this point, don't we? Even with this trash deal that we've just been thrown into, against most of our wishes I might add. Well, it seems the EU have known that they're doomed from right after we voted in the referendum, and they actually wrote a paper listing which countries they thought would leave as well. But anyway, let's read this article and gloat a little bit, shall we? The EU could find itself without 5 more members, a largely forgotten paper prepared by the German Finance Ministry claimed. At the start of 2020, just 48 hours before the UK officially left the EU, Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage told the European Parliament that Brexit was a hammer blow and that other countries would soon follow suit with exits of their own. In his speech, Mr Farage named Italy and Poland as the member states most likely to follow in Britain's footsteps. In some respects, he was correct, as the current pandemic, lockdown measures and the economic crisis seem to be only exacerbating divisive trends. Italy has the lowest support for the EU out of Europe's 4 biggest economies. We expected that, didn't we, with the way that they've recently been treated by the EU? So that one doesn't surprise me at all. Does it surprise you? I'm sure it doesn't. A recent Euronews poll found that 45% of respondents were in favour of Italy leaving the EU if Brexit is successful. And it will be successful in regards to trade. What I think is going to be an issue at the moment is I think everyone's buggered at the moment, aren't they, because of lockdowns and stuff. So there won't be any trade for a while anyway, I don't think. Personally. France was next. Yep, you heard that right. France, 38% of people wanted to leave the EU in France at the minute. Spain, 37%. Germany, 30%. Surprising, those 3, aren't they? France, Spain, Germany are the biggest, aren't they? And yet, it seems like Euroscepticism is growing around Europe. I wonder why that is, EU. I wonder why that is. Let me think. Meanwhile, at the summer launch of the Italexit political party, I'm going to slaughter this name, I can see it, Gianluigi Paragone promised to free Italy from the cage of the European Union and the single currency. So they've got parties that are running on, we will get us out of the EU. So, as you can tell, feelings in Europe are growing exponentially against the EU, and we can all imagine why, can't we? Their handling of the lurgy crisis has been shocking. Protectionist is right, isn't it? They're all protecting themselves, and woe betide anyone else that complains about it. This is not news for European officials though, who, merely days after Britain voted to leave, had already named the 5 countries most likely to follow suit. So they knew the writing was on the wall, didn't they? They knew that it was only a matter of time. And all of this that's come since has been to try and avert that. So you can understand why they've been so horrible in the negotiations, because they have no option to be. If they or anyone else see us as doing better than them, they're doomed. They're absolutely doomed, and it's going to be like a dominoes. It's going to be glorious to watch, everyone. Make sure you've got your popcorn. The warning came in a document obtained by the German media as foreign ministers from the 6 EU founding member states met in Berlin in June 2016 to discuss how to shore up the ailing European project. No, it's not a European project. It's an European Union project. The European people don't seem to agree with you anymore. Germany was worried that France, the Netherlands, Austria, Finland and Hungary could seek to leave the bloc after Brexit. The German newspaper Die Welt said, citing a finance ministry strategy paper, the paper recommended that Germany, in coordination with the EU, offered Britain constructive exit negotiations aimed at making the UK an associated partner country. Not happening. The foreign ministers of France, Germany, Italy, Belgium and the Netherlands and Luxembourg conceded that they had to find better ways of dealing with different levels of commitment to closer European unity. And they wonder why they're failing. They said in a statement, "We are aware that the discontent with the functioning of the EU as it is today is manifest in parts of our societies. We take this very seriously and are determined to make EU work better for all our citizens." No, you're not. Your citizens are numbers, in your opinion. Numbers to be crunched. Numbers to be used as political footballs. We've seen what you are. Absolutely ridiculously still trying to say that the EU is for the people. You were never, ever for the people. Sorry, but you weren't. In France, Jean-Marc Ariult, the former foreign minister, said the time was imperative that the EU changed in order to staunch the threat of Brexit contagion. Oh, we're a disease now, are we? You cheeky shit. Wow. I'm sorry, but that's disgraceful, is it not? I would actually say, John Mark, you're the contagion. The EU are the contagion. He said the main thing is that we must make Europe more concrete and effective for people. Do you think they're capable of that, anyone? Does anyone think they're capable of that? I didn't think so. There is still too much unemployment. Too many people are in precarious situations caused by you. Former French President Francois Hollande said the vote for Brexit posed questions not just for Europe, but for the whole world. Yep, that's because Britain is a powerhouse and you're not. Even as an amalgamation of other nations, you're still not without us, are you? Otherwise, you'd be able to go it alone. There's 26 of yous, and you still can't do it without us. One nation, one union of 4 countries. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, everyone? Is the EU an actual project for Europe, or was it to stifle the British? Because that's what it feels like, doesn't it? And everything that they're doing after that fact proves to me that they are terrified of us, and they always have been terrified of us, and that's why they let us in the first place, because they knew they could kowtow us and make us do as what we were told if we were in a union, too scared to leave. And they were right, to be honest, mostly, apart from the one thing that they discounted and underestimated. And what was that, everyone, you might think? Us. That's what that was. The people of the countries you're trying to subjugate and dominate over. The people have said, finally, no. And it looks like European people, I should say, are doing exactly the same. Your days are done, EU. And no matter how much clawing you do, even with your deal with China, you're still done. You think China's going to share leadership with you? You've got another thing coming. But anyway, I'd like to know your opinion on this one. It seems that they've known once we left that they've not got a union at all after, have they? They've not been treating themselves equally. They've all been protecting their own, even though they're supposed to be in a union. And the EU have been protecting its own, even though it's supposed to be in a union. And now the money cash cow, the biggest market in the EU, has left. They are nothing. Am I wrong on that? If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share it out, everyone. Hopefully the EU will be gone within the year. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. If we can manage to do better than them, and how hard will that be? Come on. They've not managed to make a deal with Japan in 10 years. We did it in 2. That should tell you everything. Stay sane, stay safe. I'll see you on the next one.